What is going on, everyone? Badger here. Should have liked and sub, and let's get into this. We got part 2 of the Disney tapes by James O'Keefe, this time with the creative marketing director. Again, gay man who thinks he's on a date, just explaining the context of why it'll be two men talking here. And also in these things, people say a lot of things when they're trying to get laid, and sometimes those are lies, and sometimes it's the truth and trying to brag and or relate. And so I'll leave you to decide what you think is what here, but let's go.
Jeannie Giannani, the creative marketing director at Disney, was asked about allowing LGBTQ content to be shown to children. Jeannie agreed that he wants children to see the content and that it is, quote, the unspoken thing.
And I'll also point out, I'm sure with the best interpretation, you would say, well, they just want positive examples of LGB, and I would assume the L and the G and maybe the B, in the same way of heteronormative examples. Fine, fair, but I think we all know that's probably not what he's talking about.
I despise those kind of people that want to accuse of Disney of grooming children. But I also want children to see LGBTQ content. Don't you agree?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. That's the unspoken thing.
Not a lot of subtlety in that setup, but okay.
You guys see a drag queen at Disneyland or anything like that? Do you want to do that? Get a drag queen at Disneyland. Yeah. That'd be cool. That would be cool.
I'm sure that would have something.
When asked by our OMG undercover journalist if he would authorize drag queens to be present at Disneyland, where children are, mind you, Jeannie the drag queen said, well, he would love to, and it will happen at some point. From classic Disney princesses to drag queens, the transformation of children's programming at the Walt Disney Company is happening.
Don't forget, we live in the same timeline as Drag Queen Storytime Hour. I mean, I didn't want to say that one. And Jinx Monsoon, of course, in Nurse What, Doctor Who. Yeah. It's a thing. It's pretty obvious.
Welcome to the third installment of the Disney tapes.
What the hell was the first part?
As we reported in Disney tapes 1 and 2, Disney has spent recent
they were combined. My mistake. Okay, part 3.
Years focusing more efforts on their seemingly strange take on diversity and less efforts on the type of content and entertainment that one would expect from a once so consistent family-oriented brand. Now, in Disney Tapes 1, we met Disney's Senior Vice President of Business Affairs attorney Michael Giordano. As you'll recall, Michael made it clear that Disney not only blatantly discriminates in their hiring practices, they consistently pass over candidates who are more qualified for candidates who are less qualified
because they're white,
but check the boxes that are consistent with their DEI hiring philosophy.
Certainly, there have been times where, there's no way we're hiring a white male person.
Kind of.
Yeah.
And if you're wondering, well, how the hell did he get hired? Well, he was at Fox Studios. They got bought by Disney, and he just came along for the ride.
Unspoken.
There are times when it's spoken, but
How would they say it?
there's no way we're hiring a white male person. The writers and actors, we hear all the time, looking to hire writers and actors who bring diversity. I'm not looking to bring on any more clients who are white.
Well, they hire no white guys until, that is, they're looking to hire upper-level management, in which case, as we saw in Disney Tapes 2, Dave Mocker, Disney's director of production and finance, claims that the only way you're going to make it into Disney's C-suite is if you're a white Jewish man, a claim that, frankly, I find to be clearly anti-Semitic, without any evidence, and likely not even true.
So you think that they wouldn't hire a C-suite who's not white or...
Oh, shut up. I missed this one. All right. Well, he's going to show much like that first one, he basically showed you the meat of it. Giggity.
Not Jewish?
In entertainment, no. There's also a slight glass ceiling for that. I feel like it's not, there's a glass ceiling. It's not quite been reached yet. You're not going to see a CFO really I guess, for lack of a word, non-white, non-Jewish.
You'll recall Mocker also talks about Disney's over-the-top insistence on jamming woke storylines and out-of-place diversity characters in places they clearly don't fit creatively, which now brings us to Disney Tapes Volume 3, from classic Disney princesses to drag queens. The transformation of children's programming at the Walt Disney Company is in full effect. Not a week goes by
And Doctor Who is, of course, run and distributed by Disney now.
without a news headline about potential medical supply shortages, threats to our infrastructure, or power grid. And you remember what they pulled during the last party to treat over 30 common ailments, ensuring OMG.
All right.
Now let's meet Disney's creative marketing director, Jeannie Giannani.
Oh,
By
boy.
day, Jeannie is Disney's creative marketing director, and by night, he's a professional drag queen. According to his LinkedIn page, Jeannie is a Berkeley grad and has a variety of jobs, including working at Netflix and Vice Media. So what exactly does creative marketing director Jeannie Giannani?
And by the way, if you want to be a drag queen in your personal time, that's fine. God bless you. You got to separate that and think of what's best for the company and the stories and the actual marketing direction.
do at Disney? He says his focus is on creative strategy across all Disney's television brands.
So what do you do at Disney? Creative marketing director, right?
Totally, yeah. So
What is that?
I'm marketing. I'm a director of a marketer for lots of bunch brands, but I started on creative brand with young adult TV brand.
Yeah.
And I was leading social creative on that brand. So did all these things for a year.
Yeah.
Well, a bunch of stuff. The lead there with you. So put together most
Fabulous nails.
and I did creative direction for it. Then I switched over to creative strategy across the television.
I don't know. Did you think this was too much for the children?
Our brave undercover journalist from our American Swiper program, and you can sign up here, met Jeannie on the dating app Bumble and managed to score a date with the drag queen.
Oh, man. I almost would do this just for the lulls and to become an undercover. Yeah. But Badger, you'd have to go on a date with this. Yeah, that's a good point. I wonder how much they get paid.
Now, before we dive into Jeannie's career at Disney, let's look deeper into his drag queen credentials.
Do we have
Apparently,
to?
there is an elite grouping of high-profile drag queens such as Daikon and
Do we
Tiffany
have
Rose
to?
that Jeannie associates with. According to Jeannie, he is a judge and the president of the jury for the AICP Awards show that, according to its website, honors marketing and communications in motion image, an award show that is big in the drag queen mentorship community. And according to Jeannie, he has been able to leverage his status as a prominent drag queen to bolster his personal brand, getting him appointments like his position at the AICP Award show and moving him up the ladder at Disney.
What I've really done is I've used my drag career and being a drag race and doing other things to both
It's good to know that being a drag queen can get you such clout in Hollywood.
bolster my
Disney. So sorry.
personal brand. Like, for example, I also judge and put award shows, creative award shows. Just big marketing award shows at Cannes and other places all over the world. So I serve on the jury, and as jury president for a number of these awards, I'm going to New York in a month to judge, to be a jury president for the award show.
What's the award show called?
It's like AIC.
AICP.
It's like let's take this job.
Very cool.
But all the people in the room with me are industry like
Can you give me a name?
Yeah, can you give me names?
It's famous like Greg Hahn and Tiffany Rose. What's their name?
Now that we've established that Jeannie is heavy into drag, let's take a look at how Jeannie is operating over at Disney as a creative head for them.
Yeah, please. dear
Jeannie
God.
speaks to our undercover journalist, stating he has a 4 to 5 month project that will allow an LGBTQ pride campaign to grow across Disney television.
Because that's what we need.
So the current project and that will take up the rest of the next 4 months, 4 or 5 months, the next 4 months.
Yeah.
It will be Pride. Our Pride campaign across different other things.
I've had it with all my personal and private information being exposed and
To see LGBTQ content. Don't you agree?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, and that's where that comes in.
Pride and third party in partnership with Disney.
Sure.
Like they bring in and Disney would help. But now Disney's doing it themselves. So it's a big step.
When asked by our OMG undercover journalist if he would authorize drag queens to be present at Disneyland, where children are, mind you, Jeannie the drag queen said, well, he would love to, and it will happen at some point.
So, do drag, like any creative marketing director, am I going to see a drag queen at Disneyland or anything like that? Do you want to do that? Get a drag queen at Disneyland. That'd be cool. That would be cool.
I'm sure that will happen at some point.
Remember, this is a man that is directly impacting what children watch, interact with online, and experience in person through Disney's TV, films,
Storytime hour,
and
do it,
theme
cowards.
parks. So you might say, drag queens? What's the big deal?
I know there's little babies here, but close your ears.
Well, it has been widely reported on multiple instances where the normalization of drag queens pushed on children through such means as drag queen story hour in schools and children's programming is being used to radicalize and sexualize children, crushing their innocence, essentially grooming them and making them ripe for victimization by predators.
Yeah.
These grooming techniques are
Unfortunately.
not new and have been widely reported on. After Disney's debacle, where just last year Disney World Park employee Paul Veal was arrested and charged with over 900 counts of child porn, you find it surprising that Disney would even come close to doing anything that could be remotely seen as the sexualization of children. So back to Jeannie. Would you allow someone that so blatantly promotes these types of hypersexualized techniques to babysit your children? Likely not. So why would Disney, supposedly a children's brand, hand the reins of programming and promotion power over to a man like Jeannie? Is the power of the DEI movement so strong that Disney would risk the safety and mental health of your children to submit to their woke demands?
Yes, and they do it willingly, and then others do it with ignorance. They just don't weaponize compassion and ignorance. The David Tennant, we just listen to his wife. He thinks he's on that right side of history, doesn't realize the darkness that it can go.
Promoting drag queens is probably one Jeannie Disney should have kept in the bottle.
Ah, you son of a bitch.
You can't keep getting away with it.
But I think Genie has one thing that he would like to say to James.
Don't use that tone to me.
What tone?
That sarcastic, contemptuous tone that means you know everything because you're a man and I know nothing because I'm a woman.
You're not a woman.
Oh, you bastard.
Be sure to like, share, and sub. If you have done that, thank you. If you're gonna do that, thank you. And I'll bring you the next one. Trust me.
Well, bye.